As someone with a recurring medical issue, I keep photos on my laptop that are meant only for my doctor's eyes. And when my computer breaks down, I can never be certain that a repair technician won't be tempted to snoop. From the outside, this building may look boring, but there's actually something pretty cool inside. Burns Logistics, a shipping logistics company based in El Segundo, California, where customs broker Christy Pratt works tirelessly to help her clients export their products all around the world. But sending goods across international borders can be expensive because of import taxes known as tariffs.
Every product has a different duty rate. It could be from free to 35%.
But when I learned she was working with an exporter of smoke detectors, it gave me an idea that could save her client millions and make Christy the hottest shipping broker in town. Just looking it up on my phone, it seems like there's a pretty high tariff for smoke detectors in a lot of countries.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of countries charge high duty rates on smoke detectors. You know, it is what it is. I mean, you're not going to get around it.
Well, not so fast. Unlike smoke detectors, musical instruments ship duty-free to most countries. So if Christy were able to convince customs that the noise from her smoke alarms was actually intended to make music, the savings for her clients would be astronomical. The plan? Ship smoke detectors tax-free by rebranding them as musical instruments.
Well,
I mean, technically anything that makes a noise can be a musical instrument, right?
you know, if you can convince customs, go for it.
Why are you so pessimistic?
Because I've worked in this business a long time. I know what customs is going to say.
You know I went to business school, right?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I don't know you.
Oh, okay. I did go to business school.
All right, well.
Oh, are you done your sentence?
I'm done.
Okay. You said all right, well, and I thought you were going to say something else.
No.
Oh, okay. Christy was skeptical, but I was determined to prove her wrong. So I began the process of designing new packaging for the smoke detector to rebrand it as a musical instrument. I then hired local blues legend Harmonica Greg to help me create an instructional DVD that would be included in every box.
Your instrument is pre-tuned to F sharp, and you don't want to mess around with that.
With our DVD and rebranded packaging complete, I was hopeful this would be enough for customs to believe it was a real instrument. But since tariff laws are incredibly complex, before moving forward, I brought my product to retired California Judge Anthony Filosa to be sure I was meeting all the requirements.
That's a smoke detector.
Right, but it's rebranded as a musical instrument.
And of course, you're doing that for what reason? To
avoid the tariffs. After telling Judge Filosa my plan, he read over the tariff laws and told me that my work was far from done.
You've got to prove to the satisfaction of a court that this particular thing is accepted by the general public as a musical instrument.
Okay.
This label proves nothing.
So how would you make it accepted by the public?
If it's used in a song that people really not recognize, it's the number one record, or one of these singers.
I knew that rebranding a smoke detector would be tough, but I never thought I'd have to create a hit song using one of the worst noises imaginable. And if I was going to do this, I'd need some serious musical talent. So I put up some flyers announcing open auditions for a new band. And later that week, posing as a big-time record producer, I opened my doors to the best of what LA had to offer. All right, let's see what you got, my man.
Sure. Don't look at the clock, it's deceiving. Everything you are so dependent on perceiving the future. Fickle notions of your mind, us creatures of this earth, always contemplating time to a saddening extreme. Many of us travel, sheep without shepherds and none prepared for battle unravel.
The turnout was better than I expected, and it was clear right away I was drowning in talent.
Arise, the time is now!
So after auditioning a drummer named Chris who could really pound the skins, and Yanni, a physically attractive singer who had the right kind of ambition.
I mean, on a wider perspective, I want the whole world to hear what I have to say.
My band was starting to take shape.
This is freedom to me.
But I still needed to figure out which musician was best suited to playing the smoke detector. So I organized the band's first rehearsal, and after watching them jam, it quickly became clear that the standout talent was Eddie. He was not only the best musician, but also the best showman. If anyone could make the smoke detector work, it was him. So after rehearsal was over, I kept Eddie behind to show him his new instrument.
I can sing, I can play the drums. This is not an instrument.
It is. It's a blues smoke detector.
No.
This is going to be the thing that separates us from any other band.
Okay.
And that means the guy who plays it is going to be the most famous. You want to be famous, don't you?
Maybe.
Great, right? Good.
I now had evidence of Shell stealing the band's song.
You guys have a great evening. I'll see you at the pump.
So I anonymously uploaded my cell phone footage to YouTube, and then I met up with Yanni in the hopes it would make him angry enough to fight back.
Did they just take it, or how did that happen? I guess they just took it. I don't know, that's not what I envisioned, like the song, its purpose, you know, being. I mean, if it pisses you off, it pisses me off, you know what I mean? That's fucked up, it's like plagiarism.
I really admired Yanni, so it was hard for me to see him so upset. I guess artists must just feel more than the rest of us. Regardless, I had to move forward. So I pitched him the idea of doing a protest performance in front of a busy Shell gas station so the whole world could become aware of this injustice.
No, yeah, definitely. I think it's a good plan if we get it, like, well organized.
And the next day, after showing the rest of the band what Shell had done, it was up to Yanni to get them on board with our plan.
It actually really upsets me that they would do something like that.
If they're putting our names on it, then they have to pay us.
I mean, personally, I agree with Yanni. I think we gotta do something.
I think we should play.
With the band on board for a protest performance, we began preparations for the showdown with Shell that would hopefully bring the blues smoke detector into the spotlight. To maximize our chances of getting media attention, I had a custom stage hitched to the back of a tanker truck filled with gasoline so the band could give away free gas throughout their performance, taking business from the corporation that took from them. But the most vital part of this operation was the smoke detector, so before heading out, I had a quick word with Eddie.
Really show off that baby, okay?
Okay.
Yeah,
No worries.
I want to see that smoke detector featured.
Yeah, I will.
Okay,
show.
cool. Thanks, man.
Let's do it.
Great.
And with that, our tanker truck was on the move. Its destination was a busy Shell station in Hollywood, in the middle of rush hour traffic, and just a block away from the KTLA News headquarters. So once the tanker was in place, members of the Bonsai Predicament took the stage and began to play. Within minutes, a line of cars began to form around the block.
Want a little bit of gas?
And it wasn't long before the news showed up to give us the coverage we needed.
All right, the LA-based rock band, the Bonsai Predicament, protested the petroleum giant Shell today by giving away a tanker full of gasoline.
The Bonsai Predicament band brought in a filled gas tanker and began dishing out free gas to customers at the Shell gas station at Sunset Boulevard and Wilton Place in protest, they say, of the company's recent oil spills and the use of their music.
They stole one of our songs and they used it in a commercial, and so we're out here giving away free gas.
Free fuel goes a long way, with customers thankful to not have to pay.
Better get my free gas, and I will protest too.
I bet you they'll get a lot of downloads today, no doubt about that.
If you're handing over your computer to a stranger, there's nothing you care more about than your privacy. So for computer repair shops like Los Angeles-based CyberGuy, earning customers' trust is a huge struggle.
We're saying them, we're not gonna looking at the files and folders or private files, but they don't trust.
The reason is that most of us have things on our computer that we don't want seen. As someone with a recurring medical issue, I keep photos on my laptop that are meant only for my doctor's eyes. And when my computer breaks down, I can never be certain that a repair technician won't be tempted to snoop. But fortunately for CyberGuy owner Herman Akbiek, I had a solution.
Your biggest problem is no matter how much you tell your customers you're not going to look at their nude or sexy pics, they'll always be skeptical because you're a sexual being, right?
Okay, so whatever desire I have, it's not gonna be affecting my business.
What do you mean?
Okay, if you don't eat food, you're hungry always, okay? If you eat food, you're gonna be full. You don't feel anymore your hunger.
Right.
So if you don't pleasure yourself at home, maybe you're gonna feel it at the office or while walking on the street, you can feel those desires anyway.
So you're saying you pleasure yourself so much at home that it doesn't affect you at work?
Correct.
Despite Herman's claim that he gets everything out of his system before arriving at work each morning, his customers will never completely trust him because he's a sexual being. But if Herman recruited repair technicians from the 1% of Americans who identify as asexual, meaning they have no sexual desires whatsoever, customers could finally feel confident about getting their computers repaired without the staff being tempted to look at their private photos. The plan? Put customers at ease by offering the world's first asexual computer repair.
I see. When they see any image, nude image, so they're not gonna be desired or affecting.
In theory, yes.
In theory, I see.
Neither Herman nor I knew much about asexuality, but he was willing to give it a shot. So I went to the internet's most popular asexuality forum and posted a job notification to see if anyone would fit the criteria that Herman would need. And later that week, I set up interviews with everyone who responded.
You know, just the lack of feeling a sexual attraction and need for sex is all that asexuality truly is. And there's a spectrum to it, too.
So if you're not thinking about sex, what are you thinking about?
Well, it always depends. I mean, I suppose most of the time I'm actually thinking about superheroes. My favorite of which being Aquaman, hence the orange shirt.
So when most people are thinking of sex, you're thinking of Aquaman?
Well, that's a funny way of putting it, but I suppose so.
After learning more about the asexual lifestyle, I was feeling optimistic that this could work. So right now, sitting across from me, you feel no sexual attraction?
No, you're another person to me.
Whoa.
I was born an asexual, and I assume that I shall still be an asexual upon leaving this world.
So after a rigorous vetting process using a heart rate monitor to judge their physical response to a series of stimulating images I found in a stock photo database. Do you find this sexually arousing, or?
No.
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 I offered the job to the two who showed no spike in heart rate, no matter how stimulating the image was. So the next day, I brought the new recruits to Cyber Guy to introduce them to Herman. So this is Nikki and Randy, and they're asexual, which means they don't have a desire to look at any customer's private nudes or sexy photos, or, you know, they just don't have those urges.
And also a sense of privacy, I mean.
Yeah, definitely. Privacy is important to everybody.
Of asexuality.
Right, but someone like Herman might be tempted.
Yeah, possibility.
Right, yeah, but you wouldn't be tempted ever.
No.
Before long, the first customer arrived.
It's like very slow, and it's hard for me to get to the internet sometimes.
So it was time to see if he'd be impressed by the new service. So I don't know if you saw our sign, but we're the only computer repair shop in town that offers a fully asexual repair service.
Okay.
Are you familiar with asexuals?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so the entire time your computer is here, no one with any sexual desires will be touching it. And that is the Cyber Guy guarantee, right?
Yes, for sure, 100% guarantee that.
Full disclosure, Herman is a sexual person, but he will not be touching your computer at any point.
What does that mean, he's a sexual person?
Yeah, that means so a sexual person as me, so we having some desires for looking at the picture, digging, looking at inside. So we're curious about what is inside, what's contained inside. It's a nude photos, videos, stuff.
So he has those desires.
But the other people don't.
They don't, the people that will be repairing it. The first customer was excited by the concept.
So now an asexual is coming up.
Yes.
Gotcha.
But all our hard work would be meaningless unless we could actually execute the repair. So once the computer was safely in the desexualized zone, Herman took his place in his isolation booth, where he could hopefully guide the repair process while the barrier prevented him from acting out his most carnal urges.
Okay, so can you double click on library folder? Okay, this is regular folders. Okay, we don't need to. Okay, so.
After 30 minutes, the repair was going well. But then, Herman said he needed to use the bathroom.
While it is scanning, so I'm giving a break to go restroom.
And that was a problem. The only path to the bathroom was directly through the desexualized zone. So to prevent contamination, I had created a lockdown protocol, and it was about to get its first real-world test.
Warning. Lockdown protocol activated.
Once the computer was safely caged and padlocked, Herman was allowed to cross through the desexualized zone.
Sexual intruder alert. 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 Sexual intruder alert.
Okay, thank you guys.
The lockdown protocol went off without a hitch, and once they completed their first repair, it was clear that Herman was sold on the new service.
Nobody touch or look in or dig in inside the computer, so they feel safe.
And that meant customers now had a place where they could feel comfortable handing over their computer to a stranger. Will you be looking at any of her private photos or personal videos or anything?
No, it's...
And why not?
It's part of privacy, and also just because I have no interest in it.
Because?
Because I'm asexual.
So, there you go.
Please back up my music and my photos. I did not back them up.
Of course.